Hey everyone, Sekriyasin here, and I wanted to share with you this thing that's really been helping me for the past, few months. And it's a change in mindset. So, I'm going to call this video the Paintover Mindset. Because what I've been finding is that when I do works for myself, I tend to think things are harder than they are. So for instance, let's say I'm doing this piece. It's a commission, but it's not under NDA, so I can show it. But anyway, let's say I'm doing this, and I'm painting it, and then I'm finding I really should fix something. The first thing that comes to mind is sort of like this sinking feeling when I have to make major changes. And I tend to get into more of like a noodly type of painting style where I make small changes and I'm hesitant to make big changes and things seem really hard to do. But whenever I'm doing paintovers for students, it's completely different. What I'll see is like a student might show me their work and then I'm like, well, this could be changed pretty quickly. And then if they say like, oh, I don't have the time, I'll usually just be like, no, it's super easy. You just do this. And then I'll start like painting big, broad things and working really quickly. So I don't know if this is just me who feels this way or if this is universal, but I've been doing it even for work by myself when I just, I'll start to think of the image, not like the image itself. So this is supposed to be like a halfling character, but I'm working on these with Flavia. I go back and forth with her, and I've been doing paintovers for her own stuff when she does like her animal stuff. I'll do like quick paintovers for her and send it back. And I find that it's easy, like she gets faster as well when I do that. And it's not necessarily that she keeps my changes. It's just that when you see someone else's take on something, it can be much faster, and there's sort of not this personal connection as much. It sounds weird how like, oh, you would think you want a personal connection to the art, but in a way, separating yourself from the work helps. So like, she did this paintover where we were concerned that the halfling looked too childlike and not like a halfling, which I think it's just like a D&D version of a hobbit, honestly. But yeah, so she did that. And then I did this, where I made the face even more older. And I kind of liked it. I thought it was interesting. And then she did... Oh no, I think I did this. And then... Yeah, so from here... Yeah, I did that, and then we went to that. She fleshed out this more, and then she added the flute, and it's just so much easier when I'm working off someone else's work. So I did this like red line because there was like issues that I was seeing, and this is like the stuff I do for students, and it really is like, it's not a big deal for me to do this, but when it comes to myself, at least in the past, because I have changed, but I would be hesitant to do these things, but then I just started treating my own work as if it was, I was just doing paintovers. So I'll like draw something and then it's just, oh no, this needs to be changed. And then when I get like a sinking feeling of like, oh, it's going to be a lot of work, well, I don't anymore because I just treat it like I'm not working on my own stuff. I'm just doing like paintovers. So for instance, for this, let's say I wanted to change the arm shape, it might feel like, oh, that's a lot of work. It's going to take a while. But if I think of it like I was just giving a student a paintover, I wouldn't be saying that. I'd be like, it's not that hard. You can just like take a lasso around the area on the red line, and then like it sounds like, oh no, this is going to be a lot of work. But it just ends up not being that much work. It tends to be fast. So lately I've been like trying to exploit this, and I was just wondering, wait, would this actually help like lots of people? Because it's helping me a ton. getting out of this, treating it like it's your own piece and treating it more like it's someone else's. I find it's just like so much easier to make changes when I'm not like thinking of it as my stuff. I just don't get hung up on certain things that I normally would. Like, oh no, it's gonna take too much time, or and I'm really wondering like why this issue. Like, why is it when it's my own work I get stuck? I start to feel like everything's hard, and then when it's someone else's work, it feels like, oh, it's not that hard to fix. It doesn't take that long. So let's say I was just like using, like I'm actually doing this as part of the work. I figured like, well, it's a 2-for-1. I can make a video about what I'm doing and why, and also give you sort of, or also get work done at the same time. So my thinking normally would be, I don't want to do this, it's going to take forever. I don't want to put it in perspective. But yeah, I don't have that problem when it comes to teaching students for whatever reason. It's just, okay. So I think it's possible if you find someone who's sort of around your skill level that you actually could just work together. I found it kind of strange when artists have to work separately, especially for jobs and stuff. It just feels like, but people pay you for the job getting done. They don't necessarily pay you for you doing the job by yourself. It's more like, as long as this job gets done, we pay you. And sure, you don't get paid extra if you work with other people, but if you're much faster with other people than just by yourself, why wouldn't you do it? That's how I thought about it anyway. I mean, maybe there's copyright issues. Maybe if you don't trust the person you're working with, that could be difficult, because then it's like, all right, well, this could get more complicated. It's like, I want to fix this flute. Doesn't really feel like it's big enough. So instead of just being like, oh no, I have to repaint everything, I just treat it like, how would I do it if a student was doing it? I would do it sort of like a rough job, and I wouldn't be thinking it's so hard to do. I would tend to say stuff like, yeah, you know, you can just do stuff like this, and it's pretty easy. That's what I'm trying to do now, is get the feeling of, oh, this is easy. So I can take this flute, and I can go like edit, copy merged, edit, paste special, paste in place, and then select that, and like maybe I want it to be fatter, I guess. Maybe not necessarily bigger, just like fatter. How would I do that? So if I was doing a paintover, what would I tell someone? I'd say like rotate it and make it level like that. Then stretch it out, make it fatter. Okay. Then rotate it again and put it back in position. Okay. And should be good. All right. And then, so this part of the hand got messed up, but that's fine. How would you fix that? Oh, just erase that part. All right, so let me do that. Okay. And then this part is a bit weird, but okay, it's not that hard. It's not that much work. But if I was thinking of it, you know, just as my own work, I don't know, somehow it would just feel like such a daunting task. Like, this is going to take forever. in this part, what I'm doing is I'm just trying to separate the character from the background. But yeah, I've been doing it a lot with my own works that I just do by myself as well. Just treat it like a paintover. So always be detached from it in a way. Like it's not personal. You're just looking at it. You make quick observations. This requires a lot of breaks as well. Like you got to sort of think about things as if it's not your work. So usually what I want to do is I want to approach it always like it's fresh and I haven't seen it before. And it's someone else's work. And okay, what do I notice? And what would I change? How would I approach this if I was doing it myself? And I guess it's mental gymnastics, but it works. So I just wanted to share it. You know, I think it's been useful for me. I think if it's useful for other people, that's good. But I have no way of knowing. Like I don't know if this is just my like something that works for me and it wouldn't work for other people. It seems to work for Flavia as well. So I'm kind of like, okay, maybe, you know, if it works for me and her, maybe it would work for other people. Just being able to make big changes, not feel like it's a lot of work, not get stuck on these types of things. I can select this and fill that as well. Put this down. So the reason I'm making selections is so that I can separate things and then I can just like, well, it's easier to show it than, so I like select around the character and then I can just use this as a mask. And usually what I'll do after I separate the characters, I'll make like a new group and I put the mask on and it's this mask, but I turned it off so you can't see it anymore. But then I work within this group. And so whatever I paint, it's only gonna affect this. And if I want to do the background, I just go underneath that group and then I can paint the background. Right? So it's a very effective way of working. Again, like, oop, see? It only affects that. It's all separated, it's all clean. So that's how I do stuff. Of course, I wouldn't just be filling, you know, like random colors. I would be painting, but what it allows me to do is be painterly. Let's say I'm using a textured brush like this, then I can be loose and do like big brush strokes, but still maintain the feeling of accuracy. Right? So you can do stuff like that. And I can also go to the background. I just have to go underneath that group. And then, like, let's say I wanted this tree to go down lower. I can just start painting it. Why is it doing this now? Oh, because I didn't... Right, yeah, okay. So let me fix that. Just make a copy of that layer. Okay, so now when I paint underneath. Yes. Now when I paint underneath. Yeah, now it's working. See? You can just sort of like paint quick. But anyway, that's it. That's a general idea. Maybe try it yourself. Treat your work like it's not your work and you're just doing a paint over for a friend. And maybe see if it works for you where you just do like collab things, but you're around the same level. And what happens is you each usually have a strength, right? So you might be better at something and someone else is better at something else. But when you've worked on the piece yourself and then they do a fix, it's easier to internalize. It's like, oh, that's how you do it because it's on a piece you were just working on. So it's not so confusing, I guess, or it's super practical. Like it's very applicable. I don't know how to say it, but that. it's very easy to make improvements because someone's fixing your stuff as you see it. So for instance, like I just look at this and I glance at it, and something that pops out is this vest is not going back into space, but I can just, okay, so let's just make like a dark and then push that back there. Now it's pushed more back. Maybe I would see a bit going around, you know, as the form turns. I would have to extend my selection to do that, but then I can get that in, like, okay, let's make a darker value and just sort of fill that in, and then zoom out. Okay, does that look better? Maybe. But yeah, just doing big, quick changes, like, oh, this just needs to be, you know, more solid, and getting out of the precious, like maybe that's it. You just feel precious when it's your own work. And it's harder to make changes. And what I tend to do with my own work is like, oh, I need to fix this area, let's say. Well, I'll get real close, and I'll just start like noodling. Whereas if it's someone else's work, I might just make like a very bold fix. So here, like the elbow, maybe the value's a bit darker. And maybe we'd see a bit of a highlight on that or something. But yeah, I think you get the idea, right? So, yep, that's it. I hope this helps, and thanks for watching.